Yes, guys, what's happening? And welcome to the stream and welcome back to the channel. First things first, make sure you smash a like on this video and please do click that subscribe button. I really do appreciate all of your support and every subscriber is valued. So please do click that subscribe button and let's help this channel keep growing. And last night, Chelsea stung the bees with a 2-0 win away at Brentford to progress to the Carabao Cup semi-finals, a third semi-final in less than a year under Thomas Tuchel. And we've got a London derby against Spurs and Antonio Kante to look forward to in the new year, providing Boris and Omicron don't shaft us. So, delighted last night. I have to say, had pretty low expectations heading into it, just purely based on the amount of players we had out through injury and COVID as well. It was going to be a heavily rotated side. We saw debuts for 3 youngsters who I thought did really well in Harvey Vale, Javier Simons and Jude Simpson-Bell all played really well. I think they can be really proud of themselves and we should definitely see more of them. I imagine we'll probably see more of them against Chesterfield in the FA Cup. I imagine that'll be the next time we see those 3 and potentially more as well, given that Chesterfield are a non-league side. But yeah, as I said, I had low expectations for those reasons. I was kind of obviously really wanted us to go through, but also understood that this match compared to the Villa match wasn't really a priority, but it's great to, as I said, be in that third semi-final. And, for everyone that's talking of, Chelsea having a bit of a blip, we're out the title race. I've said it before. A lot of Chelsea fans have said it. It's been overreactionary when results haven't gone our way in draws. But I just wanted to bring a stat up, which I was very surprised by. I didn't even realise myself. I'm just going to bring it up on the screen now, that actually we have only lost one of our last 17 games, which is quite remarkable, really. Yeah, here it is here. The only loss we've had in the last 17 in all competitions was the West Ham game. It's just those draws against Everton, Burnley, Everton and Burnley particularly. The Wolves one is it's not that bad. Wolves is a tough place to go anyway, and we had all those COVID issues. But it's the draws against Everton and Burnley, which kind of felt like losses in a way, and it's just frustrating because we could have turned two of those into wins. Even the draw against United as well. We'd have an extra 4 points or so. Only 2 points off City and banging a title race. As it stands, we're still in it, but we're going to need to beat Liverpool and City in the upcoming games. But yeah, just a stat there that it's not actually panic stations at Chelsea, and Chelsea are not in poor form, despite what some fans might say. We are actually doing really well considering the cards we've been dealt so far. We've definitely suffered with COVID a lot worse than some other teams, and we've had to battle on. So yeah, I think the club's in a great place right now, and that run of form is really, really good. But yeah, back to last night. The lineup. I did a predicted lineup a couple of days ago, or maybe Tuesday actually, and yeah, not exactly spot on, but I mean a few in there. I thought that was a good blend last night of kind of the 3 youngsters, and then we had some good experience with Azpilicueta in there. And obviously, like some fringe players as well, the likes of Saul, etc. as well, Malang Sarr. We obviously saw Ross Barkley as well, who I'll get onto later, but I can't stand him. Honestly, dreadful football player. I don't know how he's still employed by Chelsea Football Club. Hopefully we can ship him on in January or something like that. But yeah, it was a good mix. And I have to say, the first half, we were okay. We held our own, but Brentford definitely had the better chances for sure. They had the clearest chances, the best chances. They probably should have gone into the break, probably a goal or so up. Kepper between the sticks, who was fantastic last night, really kept us in it. And one of the main reasons why we've actually made the semi-finals, he made 3 or 4 really good saves that definitely prevented some goals going in. So, the way that he's stepped up his game since Tuchel's come in, Tuchel's given him that confidence and that belief back into his game. And he almost looks revived. And now, with the African Cup of Nations coming up, Mendy going off, Kepper has proven that he's ready to step in and deliver for this team like he has done every time he's been called upon under Thomas Tuchel. So, yeah, Kepper kept us in the game. There were some moments in the first half. We had a Ross Barkley kind of scuffed shot, and we also had a great effort for Harvey Vale, kind of a free header. Could have potentially done a little bit better with it, but, he got it on target. And in fairness to him, he had a good game yesterday. But yeah, that was probably the main opportunity of the first half. We kept a lot of the ball. Kovacic and Saul looking good in the centre of the park in that first half. But what made the big difference really was the 5 substitutes and our strength on the bench just told. I thought Tuchel managed to squad really well last night in terms of having the right guys starting and then the right blend of experience and starters on the bench to come on. And those 5 changes made a massive difference to us. And that's kind of the main reason why we got through in the end, because we were able to bring that quality off the bench. When you can bring players like Reece James, Jorginho, Mason Mount, Christian Pulisic, etc. off the bench, and N'Golo Kante as well, who was outstanding in his 15-minute cameo, then that's what changed the game for us, and it tilted it in our favour. But I had low expectations, as I said, but we actually ended up doing really well last night. And this is a trophy that people kind of sneer at. Oh, it's a Mickey Mouse Cup, etc. But it's one of those where if you're in it, you get to the last 4, you want to win it. You really want to win it. And I really want Chelsea to win this Carabao Cup. We want to win every competition we're in. Understandably, the fixtures pile up. I mean, the January fixtures for us at the moment, there's a lot of games in there. We just added another 2 now with the games against Spurs, 2 legs. I mean, it's not confirmed yet. There was talk of it going to a 1-leg semi, in which case that game would be at the Bridge because we had drawn out first of the pot. But yeah, that's not been confirmed yet. But obviously, we got 2 legs of the Cup. And sandwiched between obviously City and Liverpool games and the FA Cup against Chesterfield as well. So, and a game against Spurs in the league at the end of the year as well, end of the month. Sorry. So yeah, it's coming thick and fast in January. But I was really, really impressed last night, and I thought we did really well. We acquitted ourselves well, as I said, and people stood up and delivered and stood up and put in performances. And I was really, really delighted for the academy lads. It's been a long time coming. Chelsea for years and years, won multiple youth cups, UEFA Youth Leagues, etc. We've not seen anyone come through. Obviously, John Terry was the exception coming through. And then the Maurizio Sarri kind of brought through Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Callum Hudson-Odoi. And now we've just got such a strong core coming through at the academy, in the first team. Ruben, Callum, Billy Gilmore, Mason Mount, Reece James. These guys are just phenomenal. They really are. And then even the guys on loan as well, Conor Gallagher, Brozier, the forward at Southampton, doing really well. And then the guys we've sold as well, like the likes of Livramento, Tammy Abraham and Tomori doing bits in Serie A. It's so good. And it saves us so much money as well, having the academy producing these players. It's just immense. And it's a great time to be a Chelsea fan. And it's so good to see that youth is getting a chance. And these youngsters coming through that, in the past, I thought, it's going to be virtually impossible that I'm going to get an opportunity here. Now, youngsters are getting opportunities, and it gives that belief in the academy that if you do well and you're good enough, then you will play. Let's bring this up quickly. Sure. Yeah, Kante is a difference for us. We can't seem to operate without him. Not to say we are a one-man band, but he's pivotal to our success. Yeah, no, he absolutely is. I mean, his cameo last night when he came on, he changed the game, came on 15 minutes, both goals came. The guy is an unbelievable football player. And yeah, we definitely suffer without him. I'd say now he really is very crucial. Start of the season, we didn't have him that much because he was in and out with injury and his form wasn't that great. And we kind of got by without him. But yeah, no, he's absolutely pivotal. And we just have to hope that we can kind of keep on top of his fitness issues and manage his minutes and keep him fit for as much of the remainder of the season as possible, because we're really going to need him big time. But yeah, a solid performance, a really solid performance. No real standouts other than kind of Kante's cameo. Everyone was pretty solid, really. Did a good job. And it's great that we've kept a clean sheet again. Two games on the spin now with a clean sheet, having not kept any for 7 or 8 games. And it's the first time we've won and kept a clean sheet since the Juventus game. Since the Juventus game about a month ago. So I think that was another important milestone that we reached last night. And again, it shows the togetherness of the squad. Everyone's buying into it. It doesn't seem to matter who comes in at the moment. And that has been the case. Saul comes into the back line. Chalobah, who was outstanding, playing in the centre of that 3 for the first time. And obviously Aspie's experience as well. So, we're getting back to it. 2 clean sheets on the spin and kind of long may that continue. But yeah, Brentford, I was expecting perhaps a little bit more than them, given the kind of side we put out, and they were kind of virtually full strength, recovered from their COVID cases, having had a few games postponed. I really was expecting them to perhaps offer a little bit more. I mean, I think they kind of just died out in the second half a little bit, and the quality from the bench that I mentioned told in the end, and we reached another semi-final, our third under Thomas Tuchel now in less than a year. So it's fantastic, and yeah, we were just really good last night, really good, and it did surprise me because, as I said, I was worried. I was worried about it. Do you agree with Klopp's outburst about the amount of fixtures? And do you know what? I actually do sympathise with him a little bit. And I understand, it's the English tradition and all that, but no other leagues do it. And it is ridiculous. What, with injuries as well, and COVID at the moment, particularly as well, we're playing every 2 days. Like, play 26th, play 28th. There's no regard in this country, in my opinion, for player welfare. It's all about money, the play the tradition card. I think it's farcical. I really do. How can you play 2 games in 2 days and perform to the same level? For me, I do agree with him. I can see why it's frustrating. He's definitely got a point, and he's got more of a point now, particularly in these COVID times. So, yeah, mate, I have to say I do agree with Klopp that it is this Christmas schedule is ridiculous. Like, I don't envy being a manager at this time of the year, having to juggle injuries and COVID cases and playing games every couple of days because it's the tradition and, the league wants to make a load of money. Yeah, for me, look, we love it as fans to watch on the TV, but from a player welfare perspective and a manager perspective, you could really do without it. And I think in a broader prospect, it also, I think, has a knock-on effect on how England do in international tournaments because we don't have a winter break. We always look knackered when we get to the tournaments, because the majority of our players obviously come from the Premier League. And I think that makes a difference. So yeah, I do sympathise with Klopp, and I do agree it's a bit of a ball ache, this festive period for players and for managers. So many games, so many COVID cases, so many injuries, etc. But it's the English game, and if you don't like it, then I suppose you can always leave. I guess is the other way of looking at it. But yeah, the fixtures are coming thick and fast. We obviously move on to Aston Villa on Boxing Day. We are third game in 7 days. And then we play Brighton on the 29th. And then we're into Liverpool right at the start of the new year. So, yeah, there's no respite. So last night was really important. Yes, it's 2 extra fixtures, but it's 2 extra fixtures that you want. When you're going for the big trophies, you don't mind the extra games coming. That's the way it is. I think the League Cup should be removed from Premier League clubs. Do we really need that? It's a difficult one, I think the League Cup's one of those odd ones, isn't it? Maybe if we could do it, perhaps either get rid of it completely, because all the major leagues just have one domestic cup, Serie A, La Liga, Bundesliga, etc. There's all one domestic cup. I mean, an idea possibly for the League Cup is maybe the Premier League teams can put up their under 23 sides in, so their development side, so it's an opportunity for them to play, possibly. But yeah, it's not that many fixtures to run to the final, but I know Man City won it 4 years on a spin, but it's almost like teams would rather not get there necessarily. But it's definitely something to be thought about. Is it worth scrapping the League Cup? I don't know. At the end of the day, it's another trophy, and any trophy in the bag is good. But yeah, going to move into the player ratings now. And I'm going to remember to share my screen, unlike in the preview when I completely forgot to share my screen. So I'm going to bring it up now. Starting with Kepper in goal. I thought he was outstanding yesterday. Just in terms of the setup, before I get into the player ratings, it wasn't quite kind of the 3-4-3. It was more of a 3-4-1-2 with Vale and Soonsup Bell kind of playing as twin forwards, and Ross Barkley in the hole behind there in that kind of 10 role. And obviously Kovacic and Saunaguez were in the midfield pivot there. So yeah, I mean, starting with Kepper in goal, I thought he was absolutely fantastic last night. And Thomas Tuchel has kind of breathed new life into him. Kepper was struggling. He'd come in for big money, a world record fee for a goalkeeper. I think it was £75 million. And he struggled. He's obviously dropped under Frank Lampard. Had that issue with Sarri in a Carabao Cup final a few years back, where he didn't want to come off when he was told to come off. But Tuchel's come in, and I think he's managed him really well. He's obviously on a man management level. He's done fantastic, and he's kind of breathed new confidence and belief into Kepper. And now every time Kepper's been called upon, he's delivered under Tuchel. And last night he was one of the main reasons we won that game. Made some fantastic saves. And now that Mendy's going in January, yes, it's a big blow, but it's not as big of a blow as we might have thought a few months ago, because Kepper has been delivering day in, day out, really, and his attitude on the training pitch and his performances on the pitch on match day have been second to none. And last night it was outstanding. I'm not going to give him a perfect 10, but I'm going to give him a 9.5. He really was superb last night. You know, there wasn't really a lot that he could do better. I thought Kepper was really solid again. Better shot stopper than Mendy. Quite possibly. I think he's maybe a bit quicker getting down. Obviously, Mendy commands the area much better. Distribution's better as well. But yeah, I mean, Mendy for me is obviously ahead of him. But Kepper as a number 2 is outstanding. He'd be a number 1 at most other clubs. So we are blessed to have 2 top level goalkeepers. And Kepper has really pushed on since Thomas Tuchel come in. Because under Lampard, I wasn't sure there was really much of a future for him at Chelsea. But yeah, a 9.5 for Kepper. As I said, guys, if you're watching live, let me know your ratings in the chat below if you agree or disagree with me. Moving on to Azpilicueta. Again, not bad. I thought he was solid. He was average. You know, his experience was needed at the back there with slightly less experienced players. I thought he, helps Javier Simons well, who was playing the right wing back role. Aspie for me was average really last night. Didn't do nothing spectacular. Yes, he was part of a backline that kept a clean sheet, but just a solid performance really. I'm going to give him a 5.5 on this one. A 5.5 out of 10. You know, nothing special, but good enough. You know, solid and did the job. And his experience in that back line is vital, even if his performances aren't up to the standard perhaps they used to be. You know, his experience and his know-how of the game is vital in that back line, particularly in these cup games when we've got slightly less experienced players also in the back point in the back line. You love it, mate. He wasn't a 7, was he? He was or whatever. So no, a low Aspie. Well, it's not that low. He was above average last night, so I've given him that. Chalobah for me was unreal last night, and what a player we've got on our hands here. I mean, look to ease, and to think that if the Koundé deal had got across the line, we may not have even seen him in the squad this season. He probably would have been out on loan somewhere. But this has been a few years in the making now for Chalobah. He's had about 2 or 3 seasons on loan. He took his chance in pre-season. He really impressed. And every time he's played, he's just been outstanding. He looks so comfortable at this level, like on the ball, the way he reads the game. I think he's obviously really benefiting from learning from the likes of Thiago Silva and obviously learning from Rudiger as well. And I have to say, I think Chalobah now is part of that first choice back 3. I think he's ahead of Azpilicueta, definitely. He's ahead of Christensen as well in the pecking order for me. So, yeah, just an outstanding performance. And it's so great to see another young English guy coming through the academy. But this is a previous cycle, as I was saying, because he's been 3 years on loan. But Cobham is just producing so many players. And Chalobah last night for me was so good. I'd give him a 9 out of 10 there. So 9 out of 10 for Chalobah. Malang Sarr. Again, we don't see him that often. We tend to only see Malang Sarr in cup games. Really, I know he made his debut at Brentford in the Premier League, but that was kind of as an emergency due to injuries. But I thought he was solid last night. You know, he did well. He needs to be a little bit careful. You know, in behind him. Sometimes doesn't really look at the space behind him, etc. But I thought he was solid. Didn't really do anything wrong as such. Just another solid performance from him. I thought he was a bit better than Aspie as well. I'd give Sarr probably a solid 6 out of 10 for Malang Sarr. Again, I think he's going to be one of those players at Chelsea that he'll fill in as a squad player where necessary. And obviously, he's one of those that we bought in on a free. He's probably going to be loaned out, and he'll probably end up being sold on for a profit at some point. Moving on to the wing backs then. We saw a debut for 18-year-old Javier Simons. He's a bit more of a midfield player as well. He's kind of quite versatile. I thought he did quite well in this game, What is he saying here? What's this? I hate to say it, but I miss Zuma now, and felt we could have coped a lot better with him coming in. Maybe. I think Zuma wanted to leave. I think we kind of sold Zuma thinking that Koundé was definitely coming in. I mean, the one that gets me the most is a Tomori sell. Right before a new manager's coming in as well. I mean, Tuchel would have loved to have had Tomori. So yeah, that's the one that really gets me. The Zuma one, not so much, but a Tomori one, right before Tuchel's coming in, we should have kept him. Honestly, I thought that was really, really poor. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it now. Anyway, back to Javier Simons. Great to see another academy lad making his first team debut. It's obviously the next breed coming through a common big part of the under-23 side. Probably not playing in his preferred position, but I thought he did well. This is a tough game to come into for your debut. First taste of senior football. He got forward well at times. He overlapped nicely for Azpilicueta on a few occasions. And he was solid. Look, you've got to be realistic with young lads making their debuts. He wasn't outstanding at all. He was average. But, the step up from development football to first team football is so big. And I thought he acquitted himself well. So, I mean, hopefully we'll see more of him. I imagine we'll see more of these lads when we play Chesterfield in the FA Cup, as I said earlier. But yeah, no, Simons was good. I'd probably give him a 5. He was average, if we're being honest. But he had a good performance. And moving on to Marcos Alonso at left wing back, I think he needed to start. I had in my predicted lineup, I thought Saul Niguez might start there, but yeah, went with Marcos Alonso, which is absolutely fine. Not really many other options there we've got at the moment. I think that's definitely a position that we need to press on with and address in January. It needs to be addressed. Luca Digne from Everton is one that's been doing the rounds. So yeah, we could get him in for a relatively cheap fee. I think it's something we have to do. But last night, I thought, Alonso wasn't even that bad last night. I thought he was good. He defended well. He got forward well, contributed to the attack, etc. I mean, I think I'd give him a 6.5. It was one of his better games. He didn't do a lot wrong at all, and I think he performed well. So Alonso a 6.5 last night. Moving into the midfield, then obviously Kovacic. Great to see him back on the pitch again. He obviously came on against Wolves, first minutes in a long, long time. Got about 15 minutes there. I imagine this was probably pre-agreed before the game that he was going to play a half just to get those minutes back under the belt, get that fitness back up to where it was, so he can be fit for the important run of games we've got coming up in the next few weeks. But yeah, I thought it was good. Calm on the ball, good passing, a lot of touches. I thought he did really well. I'd give him, for his first half performance, I'll probably give him a 7. And it's great to have him back in the team. And the more minutes he gets, hopefully he can rediscover his form from pre-injury, because he was scoring goals, he was getting assists, he was looking really, really good in that midfield area. But yeah, a really solid performance from Kovacic. And it's great to have him getting his way back into fitness. And hopefully we can start seeing some of those pre-injury performances again. So yeah, I'll give Kovacic a 7. Whilst I'm there, let's move on to Saul Niguez. Chelsea fans have been very, very critical of Saul Niguez, but and rightly so, because his performances have been piss poor. But the last couple against Wolves in the first, when he came on at half time, I thought he was really good in that second half. And last night again, maybe the planes finally landed from Madrid and Saul Niguez has stepped off, because it looks like he's kind of starting to deliver on and show glimpses of the player that he has been and that he is. Look, let's not get too carried away. It was a half against Wolves and 90 minutes against Brentford in the Cup. But compared to what he has been doing, this was a solid performance. He looks a lot more confident on the ball as well now. And I think that praise from Tuchel has really helped him. It's given him that extra confidence. And again, just another example of really good man management from Thomas Tuchel. But I thought a solid game for Saul Niguez yesterday. Let's not gas him up too much, because at the end of the day, you're a professional football player. You shouldn't really be congratulated for doing like simple things like passing and stuff, because that's what you're expected to do in the midfield. But I honestly, for Saul Niguez, I thought he did well last night, and I give him a 6.5. A 6.5 for Saul Niguez, and he's starting to show some good form, and he could be important, And with Ruben out with COVID, this is an opportunity for Saul Niguez to perhaps try and move ahead of Loftus-Cheek in the pecking order. And it's funny how these things seem to work out. What I'll do before I get to Ross Barkley, I will rate Jorginho, who came on at half time. mate, this guy was sourcing last night. He was class when he came on. If you haven't seen it, check out the naughty Cruyff turn he does. He does like a bit of a pirouette and just leaves 3-man for dead. And it was unreal. So if you haven't seen that, make sure you check it out. It's doing the rounds on socials. He was just silky again and ice cool from the spot when called upon at the end there to put the game to bed. Slotted it away very nicely. The hop, skip, and jump is back. And yeah, hit the back of the net, and that put the game to bed. He was really good last night. He was just calmness personified in the middle of the park there. He controlled the game. And yeah, he was really, really good. I'd give Jorginho an 8 for that second half performance there. Really, really good from him. All right, Jorginho with an 8. There we go. Okay, moving on to, oh, bloody hell, Ross fucking Barkley. This guy, honestly, last night, he was dog shit. I'm done with him now. Like, people saying, oh, yeah, no, he's a useful squad player. He's the most frustrating football player I've ever seen. The guy's 28 now. We can't just keep saying, oh, yeah, he's got potential. No, he doesn't. How is he still employed by Chelsea Football Club? It is beyond me. The guy was terrible. He was outplayed by 17 and 18-year-olds making their debuts last night. He's just, he's so greedy. He's always wanting that moment, wants to take everything. Finishing was poor last night. Decision-making dreadful in the final third. It's just not good enough. And good on corners. Oh, man, fuck good on corners. We could have picked someone out the away end who could have whipped a ball in. It's nonsense. Good on corners as a professional football player. Behave. He was awful. Honestly, dreadful. And we need to get rid of this guy. If someone can take him in January, then we just need to get rid, like shipping him off on loan to Newcastle like that, somewhere like that. Because the guy is not good enough for. I don't want to see him in a Chelsea shirt again. The guy does nothing. He offers nothing to the team. Absolutely nothing. I don't want to waste too much more breath on Ross Barkley. He's awful. Honestly, awful. I'll give him a 2.5 for last night. He was utter shite. He really was. A 2.5 out of 10 for Ross Barkley. I don't know. I don't know what he offers. I really don't. He doesn't. It's clear he doesn't offer anything. Is the reality of the situation. Offers absolutely nothing. Moving from one extreme to the other. Harvey Vale last night I thought was really good. Now of the 3 debutants, I thought he was the most impressive. He's been the one that's been talked about the most. Obviously, he was unused sub against Southampton in the Carabao Cup, and he was unused sub against Malmo as well. He was kind of the next taxi off the rank, as it were, from coming up. And I thought he was really good last night. He looked someone that's quite small, a lot of physical presence. I thought he held the ball up well. His decision making was good. He had that one chance with the header, which he perhaps should have done a little bit better with, but. Yeah, I thought he was good last night. I'm excited to see more of the guy. It was nice to just see the young lads get an opportunity and show that he does belong at this level. He didn't look out of place at all, and I thought a really good performance. And I was disappointed that he came off before Ross Barkley did, but obviously having looked into it. The guys had only had like 1 or 2 training sessions with the first team before starting this game. It was quite a big ask, really, to play a full game. I think he got about 70-odd minutes, which is pretty good going. I'm excited to see more of him. Hopefully, obviously, I'm going to the Chesterfield game, providing it still goes ahead. So hopefully we'll be able to see more of Harvey Vale in that game. But yeah, a really promising debut and great to see the next generation of Cobham coming through. So yeah, for me, I'd give Harvey Vale a 7. I thought he was excellent last night. Really made the most of the opportunity he was given. So a 7 for him. Moving on to Soonsup Bell. Obviously only played a half. The reasoning for that is that he'd been ill, obviously non-COVID related. Then he'd only had 1 training session with the first team and he was thrown straight into the lineup. 17 years of age, I think to get a half is pretty good. I thought he linked up well with Harvey Vale. Showed some glimpses. And yeah, and it's just great to see another young lad getting an opportunity. And it's just so nice, as I've said before, to actually see lads from the academy getting an opportunity at Chelsea, because for so long, it's just not been the case. I think in Thomas Tuchel, we've got the perfect manager for it. He's someone that will give someone that will give these young lads a good opportunity. And he's not afraid to stick them in. So yeah, I'm delighted. And we've got the perfect blend at the moment of kind of youth and experience, and things are going well. But yeah, Soon-Suk-Bell, some nice link-up play with Javier, as I mentioned, and he looks good. He looks assured on the ball, quite confident as well. I'd give him it wasn't quite as good as Vale, but I'd give him a 6. I thought he was pretty solid yesterday. A good debut for the 17-year-old. I'll tell you what, if I was playing with Chelsea when I was 17, I'd probably be a -1 out of 10. So yeah, fair play to the lad. He did really well in the circumstances. Moving on to the rest of the subs, I will give Pulisic a rating because he played a half. He was okay. You know, he didn't do an awful lot. A really good run to win the penalty. It was a great pass from Mason Mount, and Pulisic's run to get that penalty was very good. But yeah, he didn't offer an awful lot else. You know, he works hard. He clearly doesn't like playing that false 9 position, and the sooner we can get him out of that position, the better. And hopefully we can start to see the best of Christian Pulisic, because a lot of Chelsea fans do get frustrated with him. So there's a lot of talent there, but we just don't see it on a consistent basis at all. But he was okay last night, you know. The fact he wasn't worse than Soon-Suk-Bell, definitely not. And you know, the fact that he won the penalty, looked quite sharp when he came on. I'll give him a 6.5. 6.5 for Christian Pulisic, but he's got to do better, and he's got to, you know, make the most of these opportunities, because now that Callum Hudson-Odoi and Romelu Lukaku are back in training after the isolation rules changed from 10 days to 7 days, and they've both provided 2 negative samples. They were back in training today, which is fantastic. So hopefully they'll be able to play some part in the Aston Villa game on Boxing Day. So Pulisic might find his starting opportunities limited somewhat. So he really does need to make the most of the opportunities he's got at the moment. And I feel he's not really done that. But last night, you know, he won the penalty and he was okay. So I'll give him a 6.5, which I think is pretty fair. To win 2-0 away from home with that lineup, yeah, very decent winning. You can look at it, yeah, okay, it was an own goal and a penalty, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. You take it all day, and we did do well. I mean, I'm not going to rate N'Golo Kante, but he could have easily been man of the match for those 15 minutes, and he was outstanding. You know, the guy is so good at the defensive midfield work, the work rate around the pitch. We've seen that multiple times before. But what we've not seen is the fact he's actually, look, his passing might not be the best in the final third, but he's actually a very good dribbler. And he was making a lot of things happen. And he just showed what we've been missing in that midfield when he's not been there. And we've just got to keep this guy fit, because he is an absolute unreal football player. So, yeah, N'Golo Kante, a big, big plus. And he probably goes straight into the starting lineup for the Aston Villa game. But, yeah, I mean, really, really good from him last night. And hopefully that's kind of, those injury issues are behind him now. And obviously Reece James came on as well, did well. Great ball into the box, which Pontus Jansson couldn't say no to and stuck it in his own net. Yeah, James was solid again. And it's good that he had a bit of a rest and we could use him from the bench, because the way the squad gets managed at the moment with all the COVID and the injuries and stuff and the games coming thick and fast is really crucial. I thought Thomas Tuchel got it absolutely spot on last night. He did really well. And I was happy with that. I think you need to... No, well, look, you know, he was good. He was above average. Like, he wasn't better than Saul. I've given Saul a 6, so Aspie a 5.5. I think is fair. This is not an Aspie agenda by any means. I love the guy, but I'm being realistic. His performances haven't been that great recently. So yeah, solid. This was a much better effort from him. So yeah, a 5.5 for Aspie, I think, is fair. But yeah, that's just my ratings there, guys. Obviously, if you agree or disagree, let me know in the chat. Or if you're watching back, let me know in the comments. But yeah, fantastic to get back to winning ways again last night after a couple of draws. And we get to another semi-final. Antonio Conte and Tottenham Hotspur await us there. Looking forward to those 2 legs. And last time we played Spurs in the League Cup, we made the final. So hopefully history can repeat itself. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Some positive news with Lukaku and Hudson-Odoi back in training. We've got Kovacic and Kante back. The midfield starting to looking like it's being stocked back up again. And things are on the up. 1 win, 1 loss in our last 17 games. We head to Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa on Boxing Day, which is going to be a really tough test. But I'm confident we can get a result there now. Things are starting to come back together again. And I'm delighted with last night. And hopefully we can keep that momentum rolling, get a really positive result against Villa and get the title race kind of back on track before we head into those really difficult fixtures against Liverpool and City in January. But for the title, in my opinion, we've got to beat Villa and we have to beat Brighton. We need 6 points from those 2 games. Otherwise, I think we can probably forget it. But yeah, a really positive night last night. Great to see the young lads making their debuts. On to the semi-finals. Aston Villa on Boxing Day. Up the Chelsea. Make sure you smash a like on this video. Please do click that subscribe button. And I'll catch you in the Aston Villa preview tomorrow night. The last video before Christmas, guys. So catch you then. Cheers.